This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the Municipal Bulletin Board.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Here. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia is absent. Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And I do have a quick proclamation. Arbor Day is upon us. And every year we have an Arbor Day Proclamation. This one's a little special. And you'll see why when I read it. And it reads, whereas Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in the state of Nebraska, and whereas the city of Hackensack has for the 27th year been recognized as a Tree City USA for its tree planting efforts. Whereas Arbor Day will be observed on Friday, April 26, 2019, with the planting of a tree at the Hackensack Fire Department Engine 2. And whereas such tree shall be dedicated in memory of firefighter Dennis Walker to honor the sacrifice he made during his dedicated service to our community. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus, Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, with other members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day, and urge all of its citizens to support efforts to protect our trees, parks, woodlands, and urban forest here in the City of Hackensack. So this has a special meaning for us because of Dennis Walker. Dennis Walker was a dedicated fire worker, a firefighter for the City of Hackensack who passed away, unfortunately, from cancer, which many believe he got from working at our 9/11, when we had the 9/11 disaster. He was working there for quite a long time afterwards and became ill years after and succumbed to that disease. But Dennis was a great guy. I knew him. I know his family. And this tree will hopefully be planted in memory of him and will grow on forever. So, and no minutes to approve?
Nope.
Okay. And with that, we'll go to the city manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the City Manager's Report for April 23rd, 2019. I'd like to start with Jim Magan's presentation of the 2019 municipal budget. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, as you recall, on the at the March 26th meeting, we introduced the budget. By law, we have a public hearing no less than 28 days later. That would be tonight. So tonight we'll have the public hearing on the budget. And normally after the public hearing, we would either amend or adopt the budget, but we haven't gotten state approval yet. What had happened was, it's kind of funny, it's 2019, and this was to be the year when CFOs were going to submit their budgets electronically for the first time. Yeah, we still do it on paper, but this was going to be the year we were sending them electronic. But there's still problems with the program. So we were told to submit our budgets manually, as we have in past years. What that did was that triggered the state getting a whole bunch of budgets all at the same time. And they were very apologetic. I got an email from them today at 4 o'clock, and they said that they haven't approved ours yet, but they promise that we'll have our approval in time for the May 7th meeting. What that means is that we still have to have our public hearing tonight because it's been advertised, but we won't be able to vote for the adoption tonight. That's going to have to be tabled until the May 7th meeting. Okay. So just very quick overview on the budget. You know, as we explained on March 26th, the budget is $106,763,378.18. It's an increase of $1.5 million over last year. It's a tax decrease of $186,516. The reason for the tax decrease is because we had said that we were going to decrease the municipal levy to compensate for the new Hackensack open space levy, which would result in a net zero, a zero increase for the municipal budget when you factor in the open space. Okay? And we also said at the March 26th meeting, it's our intent to keep this tax levy at this same level for the next 5 budget cycles. That's our goal. That's ambitious, but it is attainable. It's, I think I characterized it as ambitious but attainable, difficult but not impossible. And that's where we're at. Mayor, the presentation that was made at the 26th meeting is up on the city's website, as is the budget document itself.
Okay, very good.
All right. For now, we should just have the public hearing.
All right. So with that, I would like to make a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Anybody who'd like to speak about the budget and the budget only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, I need a motion to close to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? So the budget is adopted?
No,
The budget is, the budget is
The
not
public hearing
adopted.
is held.
The public hearing is done, and now we're going to just pull it. We're not going to table it, correct?
No, we'll just pull the
So,
resolution.
okay. And with that,
Ed, do you have anything else?
I do.
Okay,
you're up.
up to you.
You're up.
Okay, city manager's report also includes a repeat of the proclamation, but the city will be hosting a Arbor Day celebration with a shade tree committee on Friday, April 26th at 10 a.m. This year's tree will be planted at Hackensack Fire Department Engine 2, located at 107 South Summit Avenue. 3, the upcoming Saturday, April 27th, is the city will slam dunk the junk from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in an effort to clean up the city of Hackensack. Please refer to the hackensack.org for details. This has been a very successful program from all accounts. Deputy Mayor Sims has been involved. Greg Leosi has basically chaired this. They've collected lots and lots of bags of garbage and debris, and it's always been a good event, and it's always been good for the city, and obviously it's good for Mother Earth, so the city supports this program. The city will be postponing our food truck festival until fall. More details to come. However, there's some conversation with the Upper Main Alliance that we may put a program together on a small scale. We've never had a food truck either festival or opportunity here. So we're going to start small and see how that would work and certainly benefit the community. The building department update, 91 notices written, 119 inspections made, 9 summonses issued, 11 CCOs were done, 18 OPRA requests were fulfilled. Pothole repairs are still underway throughout the city. If you'd like to report a pothole, please call the pothole hotline at 201-646-8058. Number 7, city's shred event is scheduled for Saturday, June 15th from 1 to 5 p.m. in the Sears parking lot. Number 8, City of Hackensack's 27th golf tournament is on Wednesday, June 12th. Please refer to the website for more details. This would complete the city manager's report.
Okay, thank you. So we'll get right to business. You ready, Deb?
I'm ready.
Resolution 185-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 19-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add a new handicap parking space in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 19-2019 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 7th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 186-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 20-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to modify the time certain city streets and declared no parking areas.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 20-2019 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 7th, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 187-19.
Hang on, I just set the timer off. Okay. Give myself 3 minutes, gotta go. This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 21-2019, an ordinance authorizing a special emergency appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53B
Bless you.
for the preparation of approved tax maps.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 21-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 7th, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. And at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Ready? Resolution 188-19.
A resolution authorizing special emergency appropriation for approved tax map updates.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 189-19.
A resolution authorizing tax refunds for state board judgments.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 190-19.
A resolution authorizing the building department refund for return of permit fee due to cancellation of the project to Sunrun Installation Services in the amount of $168.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 191-19.
A resolution authorizing tax appeal attorney to settle the cases on the attached list dated April 23rd, 2019, that were scheduled for trial or settlement.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Okay, Resolution 192-19.
This is a resolution for the Main Street Business Alliance, Inc. 2019 budget.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 193-19.
Emergency for temporary appropriation prior to the adoption of the budget per NJSA 40A:4-20.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one we're pulling.
Yeah. Mine's numbered, just so you know. I'm sorry.
Should be 194-19.
Yep. Okay, so we're pulling 194-19.
-19.
Where'd you go? Okay, so resolution 195-19.
This is a resolution authorizing change order number 1 to Arcadis US Inc. for underground storage tank closure and removal at 18-22 Bridge Street.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 196-19.
Resolution authorizing the release of escrow for 295 Polyfly Road in the amount of $12,235.38. Need a motion?
I'm looking at something here.
Oh.
That was one, no, that was 196.
196-19.
We did 195? Oh, boy. 196.19. Need a motion.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who's
None
second?
opposed?
I'm sorry, oh, okay.
I thought we skipped one. We were going so fast.
What?
Okay. Resolution 197-19, payment of bills.
Resolution authorizing payment of bills.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Does anybody have any conflicts with the consent agenda before we read it? Seeing none? Go ahead.
Okay, the consent agenda is going to consist of Resolution 198-19 through 207-19. The following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. Resolution 198-19 is a resolution authorizing the appointing of Susan McVeigh as City of Hackensack's interim local registrar. Resolution 199-19 is a resolution authorizing the recreation refund of permit deposit to Summit Church. Resolution 200-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract to Neglia Engineering for parking lot E improvements. Resolution 201-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract to Suburban Engineering for Johnson Park Pistol Range berm remediation. Resolution 202-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract for redevelopment financial consultant services to NW Financial Group LLC. Resolution 203-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract to Darmafowski Engineering Associates for Johnson Park Turf Field Project. Resolution 204-19, the resolution authorizing the award of contract for approved tax map updates to BMC Associates, Inc. Resolution 205-19 is a resolution to reject hate within the city of Hackensack. Resolution 206-19 is a resolution authorizing award of contract to DMOR for Johnson Park Greenhouse Study. And Resolution 207-19 is a resolution designating Lisa Marie Shiley as recycling coordinator and authorizing submission of the recycling tonnage grant application. We need a motion.
Thank you. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda as it was read.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Okay, that was a quick night. With that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is now open to the public. Anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come forward and give your name and address to the clerk.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
My name is Pastor Ray Hermoso. I am a local pastor in 80 Grand Avenue of the city of Hackensack. I got 3 small points, which I try to do in a minute. First, I just want to inform you that I've been around the town of Hackensack, the city of Hackensack, for a long time. I never seen it better. It's clean. There's snow. As I go visit my parishioners, I don't have problem driving to the city. The people, the DPW, or Department of Public Service, it was not what it used to be. You can approach them. They're not afraid. You're not afraid. And I find a good report. And a part of that is that I see the trust that the investor have in the city. And I'm excited because I'm a local pastor. I sleep in Paramus, but I live in Hackensack. I don't know if you can figure that out.
Gotcha.
But that's what I meant. Hackensack is being. I love Hackensack. I love Hackensack, and I never seen it better. And the sense of trust that you can see throughout the city is the investors, the builders. That's your testimony. Mm-hmm. If they don't trust you, they would not put their money here. And obviously, we all witness all the greater thing that happened in Hackensack, and I'm looking as an empty nester to get a little condominium somewhere and be able to walk to Main Street.
Great.
Saying all that about construction is a little hiccup that I have, and that's also why I'm here. I also try to keep up with the city. The city motivates me, and if you pass by my place, you're going to see hundreds of tulips all over the place. We invest a lot of money to beautify the place. The landscaping is done. Everything is done neat and appropriate because the city is coming up. I want to be right along with you guys. I try to fix my parking, and I've been to the city a couple of times to try to get this work done, which is cover part of the crack and put a layer of tar. Don't ask me much detail because that's not my forte. I'm not into construction, and in fact, I'm the most ignorant person you can find about hammering nails into the wall. That's not my thing. But I try to make sense out of what I consider nonsense. And if I come to the city and I apply for a permit, they want me to go to an engineer. They want to know if my grade or the drain system is bicycle grade. You know, those type of things. I am a minister. I am a pastor.
Right.
And we try to be. I try to be coherent. I try to connect with everything because I'm excited about being in the city. But when they ask me that I have to go to an attorney and everything, that I got to do this and I think we can do more simpler than that. And all I need is just, I'm not asking to spend, I'm not asking anything else. All I want to do is, I got my landscaping done. It's just a little portion of the church that I want to recap. That's what I want. And it's been a little bit hectic. I want to comply with the law.
What I would ask you to do, Pastor, is
If you just give me your information, your
so he can look into exactly what you're trying to do.
You talk to me offline. I'll
There you
call
go.
you tomorrow.
And
We'll take care.
I don't use the time. I just want to thank you guys and
Appreciate
I
it,
applaud
Pastor.
to you. I'm not saying you guys are perfect because no one
Nobody's
knows.
perfect.
But
Life wouldn't be fun.
I'm excited though. I'm excited and hopeful for what you guys projecting is the word.
Thank
God
you.
bless you and may the Lord bless you and bless the city of Hackensack. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Okay.
Next,
You'll hear
please.
from me.
Hey, Paul.
Good evening, Paul Nichols. How are you?
Good, you?
Good. I sent Ted an email a short time ago, and I think I sent you too, Mayor. You can pass it around if you want. I just figured I'd speak a little bit quickly about a bill that Assemblywoman Valerie Huddle sponsored. It's the summer version of Code Blue, and you remember Code Blue is 132. I hope we don't have that anymore.
No. We don't want that
But
back.
I hope it doesn't get so hot where we need something like Code Red, is what other states have. Now, Assemblywoman Valerie Huddle sponsored the bill, but I don't know. I don't know if it passed. I don't know if it turned into legislation or however the wording is. But I think it would be important, since it does get hot lately in the summers here. Her bill is when the temperature gets to be like 90 and 95. I know they do all cooling centers
Cooling
and
centers,
stuff like
right.
that, but it would be good to promote it because it's not, like Code Blue, it's not only for homeless people, it's for people that may
Seniors.
have power outage, seniors.
Absolutely.
Anything that's uninhabitable.
We definitely will have cooling centers set up again, like we have in the past.
The Code Blue principle, obviously, if we have the dedication of the M&M building, that would be one of the sites that we'd use. The county has a cooling station and a shelter. Obviously, when the temperature heats up, we use the front lobby of City Hall, and there's other designated buildings. So I've spoken to
We use the
Deputy
library,
Chief
too.
Nyland. I think we're in pretty good shape here. I don't believe that
We use the library.
proposed legislation has passed,
Yeah.
but I think the city is pretty prepared for that type of condition, and we are paying attention.
I'm not sure we used, and I see our librarian, our lovely librarian Tara is here tonight. Hi, Tara. But I'm not sure, I think we might have used the library in the past as a cooling center. I'm not sure, but that's something we'll
I
speak to
think so
our-
during the day.
Yep.
But, you know,
In
because
extreme cases, it's a necessity, so.
yeah, especially sometimes if people have an uninhabitable place and there's no room at the Housing, Health, and Human Service Center, people may need somewhere overnight.
Yeah.
But I know, like in the winter time, you use like you said, the lobby of the police station, fire department, stuff like that. So, all right, that's really all I want to talk about. And again, I hope it doesn't get that hot. But
Thanks for bringing it up.
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Yes, hello again, Kathleen Salvo. I'm sort of a safety advocate, and I cringe when I see something that's not safe. And thank you for removing the park bench that the kids were dangling their feet on State Street, because that was very important. And they bother me in Florida too. Not that they bother me, but they ask me to do things, and I do. I came home and I was very shocked to see the corner of Main and Anderson with the fence right to the curb line with no public right-of-way. And then when I see a carriage and a mother holding a child and walking in the street on Anderson Street to get to Main Street because she doesn't want to walk on the other side. And there's no reason to block the sidewalk. The sidewalk is the public right-of-way. Unless there's something going on, whether there's construction or demolition going on, then the sidewalk should be blocked for the safety of the people. But the right-of-way, it's minimum 48 inches. It should be that two people could walk side by side. And there's nothing. They went right to the curb line. So, and we also take out permits to put fences up, so I don't know how that was allowed. So the fence should be moved back, and then if they do any construction, you just do like they do in New York. They block the sidewalk off at that time when there's some activity on that site. So how long is that going to stay like that? That the people have? That's a very important corner because they do walk from Anderson to take the bus, and they're walking in the street with the carriage, with the truck, with the kid holding on the side, and it's dangerous. The other corner is the corner of Bridge and Moore, which I noticed when we had the tree lighting for the Christmas tree lighting, and I brought it to somebody's attention, but nothing was done about that. It was knocked down, they put the fence up, and again, they shotgunned the whole area. They put the fence to the curb instead of putting the fence to where the sidewalk would be. So it's just two very important things, and we have a lot of pedestrians in those sites. This is not like in the corner someplace. These are heavy pedestrian areas. So I just wish that something is being done about that, and all you have to do is call the fence company and tell them to move the fence. And it's not something that's important, but it is important because it's for the safety of people who walk here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail Wells, 160 Overlook Avenue. I love Hackensack too, and I'm very nostalgic about this town, and I'm glad to be living here, especially with all the development that's going on. And I'm not saying that the property owner doesn't have the right to protect his tenants and have something there, but for 18 years, they just had a security guard. Now all of a sudden, they need these gates. And in the last 2 weekends, the gates have been gone down on a Friday night, and the security guard does not come back until Monday morning, at 6 a.m. The amount of activity on a weekend from that building, you should know, but you don't because there was no traffic study. On this last report, and I'm going to ask the constable to explain it, it looks like everything was within 2 decibel points. However, it needed to be above that to be in violation. And I don't, so I'm going to ask him to explain that. I find it highly suspicious because the weather was incredibly calm and the noise was so loud. And when I've had that before, there's always been a violation. We'll discuss that next time. In the 10-minute period that's marked here, 5 cars entered or exited. Each car activates the gates 2 times, once to go up and once to go down. So 5 cars in 10 minutes is 10 activations. That's like once every minute. There's a nuisance code here in town. I don't know why the nuisance code cannot be applied to this. I live in a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment, and I would really love for this to be a two-bedroom, two-bath apartment. And I could put up a divider and I could make it into 2 bedrooms, but it's not permitted. It's not what the use is for for my apartment. I understand what this property owner wants, but maybe, just maybe, there is nothing that is suitable for covering with that kind of activity. In addition, there are gates out there or regular garage doors that are at a 40 decibel level. When you have something that's showing at a 54.5 or a 56.1 decibel level, that's high. And some of the readings for the area were UR. And when I asked him, what does UR mean? It means unreadable. That's how quiet our neighborhood can be. I'll leave you with this. I'm not going anywhere. This apartment was my mother's. She lived there until she passed away. I plan to stay there for a very, very long time. I'm excited about what's happening in Hackensack, and for once I'm on the right end of the wave going forward. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, and I ask you to please help me with this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi, Rich.
Okay, my name's Rich Serbo. I'm on 46 Spring Valley Avenue in Hackensack. And look, I just want to comment on a few things. I'm glad the smart school candidates prevailed. I'm happy about that. And I think it gives you an opportunity now to work with the Board of Education, which at one time, that's the way it was. I mean, sort of working with them instead of being at odds with the Board of Ed, I think is a good thing. I think that's been a problem. It's been so contentious. It's been just politically unreal. It's been a political war. So bringing that back together, which at one point it was before there were elected board members, I think it gives you an opportunity to do more and do the right thing for our schools. That's that. Now, I just wanted to bring up this resolution that was brought up. I have a copy of it from Deb. I didn't see it tonight on the docket, but it's the resolution to reject hate within the city of Hackensack. Now, I think that's just reaching a little bit, and maybe Mr. Kleinman could chime in and how legal is going after hate. Now, if someone commits an act, with hate behind it, and they do something outrageous, so they burn down your house because they hate you. Okay, that's hate, and you would go to jail for that. You'd be arrested and go to jail for that. But I just don't see where we're going with this, and I wish it would be clarified a little. A little clearer for the public that it's I don't know, it's just not clear what is meant by that, and we have constitutional laws. I don't know if it's our job here to talk about legislating hate or freedom of speech or. So, like I say, I'll defer to Mr. Kleinman to comment on the legality of something like this and what it's all about. Lastly, I'm going to just comment on Mr. Hermosa, his comments a few moments ago, that he was glad about the development here and people coming here because they have confidence in the mayor and council or all the leaders in town. And I agree to a certain extent, but they also came here because of the tax breaks. They came here because of 30-year tax breaks. That's a hell of an incentive. So partially, yes, they have confidence in our leaders, but let's just add that as an addendum that they did get some kind of gifting, or I don't want to call it a handout because that doesn't sound so good. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Do you want me to speak? Do you want
Oh,
me to
sorry.
speak
Yes,
to that?
Steve, you can address that. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I would just simply say, if you review the resolution, part of what the city council does is it makes aspirational statements, statements of value. And so the council has every right to pass a resolution expressing, its feelings as a body towards, towards what it sees, out there in the world. I mean, if anybody, read the news today with what happened in Sri Lanka, you see what hate can do in its worst form. So there is nothing in this resolution that, has the force of law or anything that would violate anybody's civil rights. It's simply the council exercising its right of speech to say, that this is something that they believe needs to be said. So, certainly if the council were to choose to pass legislation based upon these principles, we would have to look at all of the legalities. But standing alone, there certainly is no legal issue with saying this, and I suspect we're not the only governing body that does so.
Thank you, sir. Next, please.
Regina DePasqua. I'm not one to hide what's going on. Reject hate. Yes, I got a very hateful letter, and it was signed Hackensack employee. And to the best of my knowledge, nobody from Hackensack has even looked into it. Telling me to stay out of the school elections, telling me to stay out of school business, telling me to stay out of our meetings, it was written. Our business, telling me to move out of Hackensack. And if I don't do those ultimatums, I will not be allowed near City Hall. Maybe it wasn't a Hackensack employee, maybe it was, but nobody even looked into it. I have looked into it. I have handwriting samples. I have information. The police, it's, dicey. I think they're protecting an employee because it may be an employee, okay? So they don't have enough evidence. Well, but reject hate. But, towards me it's okay. Towards me it's okay. Don't look into that, But I think the reason I told the schools and the city, the schools deserve pilot money. You say we're not there yet, but you're trampling over students and families to get there. The collateral damage, they need it. And other towns are doing it because they realized it was wrong not to. But you want to get to a certain amount of money in the bank or pay off the debts or whatever it is you're planning to do with the pilot money, and not give it to the schools. And I just hope that whoever is on the Board of Ed will ask for it, because that's how it should be. It shouldn't just be, we're all being affected by the construction. Everybody, the schools, the residents, the roads, the police, everybody is being affected by it. Share the wealth.
I'm going to speak to that right now, and I'm sure my deputy mayor is going to want to definitely speak to that. To date, we have one pilot that's in effect for $260,000 per year, okay?
This year.
For that year. And for some reason, if we gave every penny of the pilot money to the schools, It's going to solve all the schools' problems and all their woes are going to go away when they got $8 million in the last 3 years in state aid and they still have all kinds of issues. We're not even close. Jersey City, who I'm sure you were talking about, yes, said they were going to give money to the schools, but that only included from a certain point moving forward on new pilots. And to date, if I'm not mistaken, Deputy Mayor,
139 million in pilots to date.
to date, there's 139
keep
million,
all of, that
but
they
to
keep all
date, it's new pilots, and there's no new pilot money coming in because they're stopping their pilots. I don't think there's been any new pilots. When a school gets state aid, do they give any money to the city to assist us? No, because it's state aid for the schools. The pilot is state aid for the city. It's formed by the state. It was put together by the state so cities can rebuild themselves, not so that they can work their tails off to rebuild their city and give the money to the schools. That said, we've said all along, when there's an effect on the population of the schools, an adverse effect due to the pilot program, we will pay for those students above and beyond a certain amount. You could have a 200-unit building have less children in it than 5 houses, 5 two-family houses. So, I mean, you have to be realistic. This program is to get this city on its feet, pay for the infrastructure that we're doing, the sewers, all the other work we're doing, and that's what it's for. Down the road, yeah, it's another story. When we have money in the bank, that's another story, but we're nowhere near that, not even close to it. So I keep hearing about, I hear from the school people, give us our money, give us our money. It's not their money. It's the city's money. It's all taxpayer money at the end. All comes out of the same kitty. But this is our budget, they have their budget. We don't take from their state aid, they don't get from our pilot. That's just the way it is. And I'll defer to the Deputy Mayor on that.
I think you pretty much covered what I was about to say is, in 3 years, the state aid to our schools in Hackensack has increased by $8.2 million. And, yet that their tax levy has still increased. And that's their issue and that's their budget. So to think that $8.2 million a year cannot help them solve their problem, and $26,000, which is 10% of the 260 last year, could have solved all those problems, is just a ridiculous statement, in my opinion. Of course, we will work together with the schools, and if there's, as John mentioned, if there's an impact, we meet with them monthly, we monitor how many children are coming, we only have 1 open, the number has been exactly the number that we've projected. If there's an impact, we will talk about it and we will discuss it. There's no way we want to hurt or cause any undue challenges to our schools. Absolutely not. And as we move forward, I am hoping, someone brought up, I think it was Rich, about a better relationship, and I hope our relationship continues to improve. Because as we move forward and more pilot monies are coming into the city and we have ways that we can collaborate together on projects, absolutely. Absolutely, that's what the city is going to be wanting to do. But, and I know I say this all the time, but we're not there yet. We have 1 building that's open. That's it. That's where we are right now. And to think that's not going to solve all the city's problems, it's certainly not going to solve all the schools' problems. And when you pay your tax bill, you write 1 check. You don't write a check to the schools and a check to the city. You write 1 check. You heard from our CFO tonight that we have 0 increase this year in this municipal budget, in the tax levy for the municipal budget, rather. So there's 0 impact to our taxpayers for the city. And there's a small increase, I believe, for the schools. Now, does it matter to you? Say, for example, your taxes went up $100, make it simple math, right? Does it matter to you that the cities was 0 and the schools was 100? Or would you rather we say to the schools, we'll give you $50 of our money so that it's even for both of us? It makes absolutely no sense. But that's what they're proposing. It makes no sense. By us working as diligently and as hard as we can to control the city's expenditures and bring revenue into the city, that's what's helping your tax base. And if the school monies need to go up, be thankful that the city money didn't go up. We're doing a valuable service to helping all of our taxpayers. by having the objective that we have and we've been able to accomplish this year. But to blame the city for the school's problems, outrageous. The school and the city are separate. They have separate budgets, they have separate managements, and they have separate objectives. We here are doing our job to the best of our ability. And I believe the school is doing the same. Don't mix the waters. Don't say that we have to give half of our money to them so that we both increase the same. Attribute to the source of the cost. The reason that it's going up in the schools is explained to the taxpayers, and the taxpayers vote on that budget. That's your choice. And we're doing the same here. We're assuming the cost of the city, and they're assuming the cost of the school. Thank you.
Now, real quick, I'll bring up something I brought up years ago when a Board of Ed member had brought this very subject up. And I said to him, when we came in, there was $33 million in tax appeals. Everybody knows that. Out of that $33 million, the schools got 45% of that money already and spent it. It's gone. They spent, I don't know, what's 45% of 33?
It's about $12 million.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's a lot of money. They got that money. When it came time to pay it back because of tax appeals, we don't go to the schools for that. Hey, where's our share? You got your share, now pay it back. The city picked up the tab, all right? Because that's the way it is. Just like the pilots belong to the city. School state aid belongs to the school. So, to sit there and say, again, our schools are failing because you're rebuilding the city is just, to me, a cop-out. It's not fair. It really, it has absolutely no basis. It's not factual. Makes absolutely no sense. I understand everybody wants money, but you just can't go say, because we happen to be bringing in revenue, a small amount at this time. You just can't say we want some of your money. But that said, it's not fair to the group that has worked so hard to get these things going, because it's not an easy task to do. And like Deputy Mayor said, down the road, I wish we had $100-something million in the bank from pilots.
We're not going to.
But,
Let's hope we reach a reasonable goal.
Right.
And it really helps our taxpayers, and it helps us improve our city. I mean, it was, at the earlier meeting, Ted was talking about us trying to handle some of the sewers and the flooding issues. And, these are things, there's infrastructure work that needs to be done in the city. And that's our job. Our job here is to do the best we can to upgrade our city, to keep everything running as smoothly as possible, and to do it at a cost that's most reasonable to the taxpayers. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. One other point that I want to make, because it really, going through this whole election, I guess it was just very unfortunate to base a whole election on, give me more money and I'll be okay. Think about the way the Board of Education budget works, all right? What happens? The way all budgets work, a city budget, Board of Education, is you sit down and you say, here's what I need to do this year, here's what my expenses are gonna be, and here's the amount of money that I'm gonna need to get that done, all right? And then you get as much revenue as you can, and then you say, okay, Mr. Taxpayer, here's what we need you to contribute to make up the rest of it. But here's the plan, whatever it is. Their plan was $126 million this year. Okay, I need $126 million to effectively run the schools. So you're telling me if we said to them, all right, we're going to give you another $26,000, you're going to increase your budget to $126 million and $26,000? You're going to say, oh, goody, I have more money, so I'm going to spend it? No. Whatever it is that they have in their budget, that's the amount of money they need to run the schools. That's the amount of money they ask for, and that's the amount of money the taxpayers agree to. So it's really a moot point that, oh yes, if you give us more money, we're going to be able to fix all of our problems. They already specify, here's our plan, here's what we need to do, and here's how much it's going to cost. So just think about the rationale behind some of these discussions, because to me it just absolutely doesn't make any sense. Not to belabor the point anymore, but.
All right, thank you. Anybody else from the public? Motion to close to the public.
I think
And I just wanted to add, I know Regina has left, but Mr. Ehrenberg and I have already discussed this, and look, if there is evidence that actually exists that a city employee engages in misconduct, including reaching out to any citizen regardless of their political positions improperly, action can and should be taken. So, if we obtain that information, appropriate action would be dealt with. And I think it's important to make that clear.
Thank you. And if I'm not mistaken, some things have been done.
That's correct.
That's correct. So, the city has not stood by and done nothing. The city has actually moved forward with it. Motion to close to the public?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? All right, with that, Stephanie?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to, I don't want to keep talking about pilots, but just a little different spin on it. With the Board of Ed in the city, it doesn't have to be an us versus them mentality. When I look at pilots as a parent with 3 children, I'm looking at the redevelopment on Main Street as a way to support education. You look at these other towns in Maywood, they have a little downtown, their students can walk down to Ridgewood, Montclair, all these towns have places where kids can go. So I'm looking at this as a way to help not just the taxpayers, but the students, so they have somewhere to go, so they have things to do to stay in town. So I think it's a collaborative effort, and I don't think it's something that should be divisive. And yes, it's important to look at numbers and percentages and things like that. And our CFO and our deputy mayor does a great job at that. But looking at it as a parent, it's a great thing for our students and our faculty and our staff, a place to go to downtown. It's a good thing. The Easter egg hunt. Thank you to Rose and Steve and our DPW staff. They did a great job. It was this past Tuesday, I think. It was a great turnout. Everything went smoothly. We have a big Saturday. We have Slam Dunk the Junk. FDU City of Science, FDU University is hosting an event, a STEM event at their campus. We have a lot of baseball at Fashini Park. A lot of good things going on. And our librarian, our director of the library, she actually just left, but she's doing a great job over there at Johnson Public Library. A lot of things going on. On Monday, May 6th, from 5:30 to 7 o'clock, they have a Narcan overdose training there, and anything else going on at the library. You could go to johnsonlib.org and look at their young adult, their children, their adult calendar. They have a lot of great programs going on. And registration for Summer Rec is open as well. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Belated Happy Easter and Passover to all those that celebrate just this past weekend. Hopefully it was a time for everyone to enjoy with friends and family and remember the reason that we're celebrating some of these religious holidays as well. Jim, great job on the budget. Again, I know lots of hard work, and Ted and all the city employees. Hopefully the state will approve it and we will be ready to have the resolution on at our next meeting. Having 0 increase in our tax levy, again, wonderful accomplishment. And even keeping our expenditures to $1.5 million, on a $106 million budget. Again, great effort, and shows participation, by all of the departments within the city and everyone really, doing their best to keep the expenditures to a minimum and make smart decisions, which is really, really important. To Gail about the noise issue, we'll continue to look into it. You continue to get us reports and information. We do have noise ordinances, and, unfortunately, from our standpoint, if it's calibrated and tested and if it's within the range that it's allowed to be, that's what really dictates, unfortunately. I know you feel it's louder than it should be, but that's where the city is right now, and that's what's allowable.
And the noise levels are set by the state. We don't have the discretion to go set our own. When we did our noise ordinance, we actually, if you remember, had to get it approved for even the most minor deviation.
Right, and I understand it's a change because for years and years, they didn't use that mechanism. But there's nothing the city can do. In other words, your hands are tied to a certain extent. You can't prevent them from using that mechanism. I'm sure that the city manager took notes, and we can look into gathering the rest of the information that you requested and to see if that could help us in any way. But thank you for coming and being an advocate for that as well as a cause. Not a lot else I have to say, except also this weekend, Fairleigh Dickinson University is having a big science and STEM event at the Rothman Center. It's this Saturday from 11 to 5. It's free, and it's kind of designated for grades 7 to 12. There's going to be lots of hands-on types of things. Actually, I think they're going to have, I forget what the name of the individual was, but an astronaut's going to be there, and he's going to speak to the children and to people that participate. So it sounds like it's really going to be cool. They're going to have, you know, STEM events, et cetera, and a good event to bring the kids out and do something a little bit unique. And I know Fairleigh's all excited about it, so I'm going to actually take my granddaughter for sure and make sure I get over there as well. Again, thank you everyone for coming. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Well, I missed the last meeting because I was sick, and I think that's one of the first times it's ever happened. I missed too many meetings, but I was down for the count with the flu. I got the, I guess the last end of it, but starting to feel better. So thanks to those who reached out and asked how I was feeling. Great job again with the budget. We're going in the right direction. And also to the financial team that worked with you. I know at the last meeting, the Stibe Dog Park thing kind of took a hit from what I understand, and I'm very concerned about that because one of my concerns about what we were doing with the dog parks was keeping them as local community dog parks, not one central dog park where everybody has to get in a car to drive their dog to go walk them. That's probably as bad environmentally as you can think of. We were planning on piloting the first dog park at Stibe Park, which I still would like to do, and move forward with our parks, putting in the smaller parks, you know, dog parks, so people would have a place to go walk their dog and let them run free within the dog park. But we're going to meet with those people again. We may even meet on site. Some of the things that I've heard I totally disagree with, but I'm looking forward to sitting with Stephanie and everybody else and talking that out. The greenhouse and the garden, moving that forward, that's a great idea, and happy the city's able to come up with some funding for that. It's Friday at 11 o'clock on Summit Avenue. It's Firehouse number 2. We're planting a tree. It's going to be named in Dennis Walker's name, who was a firefighter in Hackensack, who passed away from cancer probably 5 to 10 years ago. Great guy, great family. This Saturday is Slam Dunk the Junk, which is basically Clean Up Hackensack Day. Everybody meets at, I guess we're meeting 9 o'clock at the Hack Pack by Atlantic Street Park. Yep. We get a good turnout every year. If you're a 501c3, the city will give you money for bringing your kids out to help clean up the park, or whether not just necessarily kids, anybody who helps. Tomorrow I'm attending is the Elected Officials Roundtable. Governor Murphy's going to be in Hackensack at Fairleigh Dickinson at Dickinson Hall. I'll be attending that. I don't know if it was announced recently or not, or at the last meeting, but we received $370,000 for streetscape work on Main Street from Berry to Banta, which is a tremendous help. That'll money well needed, and that's less money taxpayers have to pay for, you know. So that's a great help to us. And with that, that's all I have. So everybody have a safe trip home. We're done early tonight, and thanks for coming.
Your motion?
Motion to close the meeting.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.